My name's Chris.
And I'm Christy.
This is the Washing Up Podcast. And what an episode.
I think you'll find it's pronounced episode.
Episode.
Yes.
Bit more.
We're all going a bit of Royce tonight.
It's all a little bit of Royce. It's a little bit of Royce. This is Royce's fault.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Royce and Amelia.
Getting us all into Keith and Kim.
Yep, yes, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So
It's nice, unique and different.
Nice, unique, different. And so was tonight's challenge. It was nice, it was unique, it was a bit different.
Yes.
There was also a lot of food waste, but we'll come to that. Look,
if
that's...
you had a spare, if you need to get to the ball on time, you had 3 options.
Yeah, you had lots of options. Look, yeah.
Fairy godmother, go bring me a pumpkin.
Lots of transport.
So many pumpkins. Oh, sorry, 4 pumpkins even.
Pumpkin's the way to go. Yeah, pumpkin's the way to go. You've got film directors, health inspectors. Sorry, there's a very small, narrow group of people on the planet who will remember that ad campaign for miscellaneous city trains. I feel it's appropriate. Anyway, so this is the Washing Up Podcast. This has not suddenly become Train Goers Monthly.
No, that's from after MasterChef.
That's after MasterChef. That's we'll save it for the save it for the Train Goers Monthly Podcast.
Yeah.
It's an important podcast too. No, so tonight, obviously, we've got 3 episodes to cover. The first of those 3 episodes is a bit sad,
and a bit
creepy,
a little bit annoying.
It was a bit annoying.
A little bit shit.
It was a bit,
in some areas.
It was a bit annoying. It was a bit weird. It was a bit creepy. It was a bit shit. And look, I'm sure that the food at Chin Chin is lovely.
Do we need
Benjamin Cooper was very creepy.
Very creepy, and do we need another white guy bringing us...
And very white, yeah, very white.
A cuisine. Like, it's...
I feel like while MasterChef on some fronts has been the show for our times in terms of COVID,
yeah,
I also feel like...
this has dropped the ball.
This week, unfortunately for them, and I mean, this is something they've talked about before... we've talked about this before, obviously, about the idea of appropriation, and look, no doubt the food is probably lovely at Chin Chin. I've heard people who have been there and said it's fantastic. Could we not have given this, we've got a season of representation and a season of a lot of visibility, could we not have maybe found somebody, who continues that representation on? That's sort of what
might actually be Thai
now
to bring that in.
Now, having said all of that, I had far bigger problems with the fact he was just creepy as all fuck. It was the moment when he told Reese to smile.
That was just... it's like...
Remember what I said? Smile. No, fuck off.
And not only that, Chin Chin was picked up for wage theft.
Yeah,
this is not a good choice.
There were so many problems with it. So there
are so many people in Australia who pay their workers fairly, who are probably less creepy telling someone else to smile, because then you won't be stressed. Want me to put a smile on that dial? It just...
So let's take it out of Columbaris Lane. Okay. We don't want it living in Columbaris Lane, because Columbaris Lane is not a nice place to be. This is the MasterChef kitchen, damn it. And what are we, Christy, in this podcast?
We're razor fucking sunshine.
Yeah, razor fucking sunshine.
And we're sweetness and fucking light.
Lots of sweetness and lots of fucking light. So...
You know who else is sweetness and light? Fucking Sarah Tiong.
Oh, Sarah Tiong is sweetness and light. And by the way, kudos to Sarah Tiong today. You wouldn't have seen this, but she went on Triple M and they were kind of not very... They were very Triple M, put it that way. And Sarah called them out and pointed out they must do better.
Good on you.
And go Sarah Tiong on that front. So, anyway...
What do you mean?
And Sarah, if you...
We're all blokey white guys talking together.
And Sarah, if you'd really like a place where you can come and just naturally be you...
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, we're white, but at least one of us has a vagina, and
you'll never guess which one. So anyway, so let's move on, shall we? Because
sports ball. Well, I don't know much about that. The other one does, but it's not what we talk about.
So let's move on. So
we can offer you, cans of icy cold Coke if you really want them.
We don't have a Black Thunder,
but we don't have a Black Thunder. We have a red Mazda.
We're far more likely to be. We're far more likely to get this and get axed from Triple M.
Yes.
So anyway,
We can offer you a nice Pims refresher. How's that?
no icy cold cans of Coke.
No.
No 2-for-1 Hoyts vouchers.
In this weather, I'd do some mulled wine for you, Sarah.
Well, there you
know?
go. I think there's only
Coming
one
up
option.
to midwinter, it's just the perfect time for a bit of mulled wine.
I think there's only one option.
Okay.
So let's move on. So as I was saying before we went,
It's the fucking light.
really fucking left. So the challenge was a weird one because it was about producing the dish. You didn't have a recipe,
No.
right? I argue that you should just fucking make whatever you want and then go, I didn't have a recipe, so I just sort of, I think this is what it is.
He's could have pulled out a cake.
Yeah. Which Andy would have gone, I don't like cake.
But I like this one.
I finally worked out exactly who Andy is.
Who?
Agnes Skinner.
Not that one. It's good. I'm no wrong.
I don't care much for cake. It's far too sweet. You can have a picture of any cake you want. Not that one. It's a coconut cake. But yeah, no, Andy is clearly Agnes Skinner.
Yes.
He doesn't like cake, but he's around cake a hell of a lot for someone that doesn't like cake.
I mean, I don't prefer cake. If I've got a choice of pastry or cake, I'll go pastry. But I'm not complaining. If someone's serving me up cake and it's cake, I'm going to enjoy it.
If Reese keeps serving me cake, I'm going to eat the cake.
Like, Reese, if you want to just pop up here, I'll also serve you some mulled wine or some rosé, as I believe that will be his and Mulsey's drunk.
We'll come to that. Yes.
Anyway.
So I actually thought, what I will say about the dish is, normally these are the sorts of challenges that we shit all over. The idea of no recipe, just make this dish.
I mean, technically, this is a bake-off technical.
It is.
And it's even better than a bake-off technical because, so bake-off technicals will give you the scarecrow of something like make a curry paste, for instance. Well, bake-off would say that, but they just say make a dough. At least they gave you what all the ingredients would be in this challenge.
Yeah, they gave you the bench and they said all of the ingredients are on that bench. You have to use everything that's there because it's all in the dish.
Yeah.
The only thing that we sort of had a problem with in this challenge was at 10 minutes to go where he suddenly went, so now you cook the curry.
Yeah.
And that bit was the only one. But again, when you reframe it the way that you did before and go, it's basically a bake-off technical.
Yeah.
And it is a bake-off technical. I don't have a problem with it. And I know a lot of people got angry at this one. There are other reasons to not be happy with this challenge than the process of the challenge.
Yeah.
The process of the challenge was fine.
But it sounds like Reese has actually got a lot of knowledge, and that's what came out here. And he's gone, I wouldn't start cooking the curry till the very end.
Now they've had a bit of a weird week at times in terms of, and I commented on it 2 nights in a row. They started getting stuck into people very early on about needing a wriggle on or needing to get a move on. Like 10 seconds into the challenge. On that challenge there, they went, go. They run over to get all the stuff off the bench. They go, what do you reckon? And Ben Cooper goes, I think they need to get a wriggle on. It's like, you've just said go, and they're filling their baskets.
Like,
how much faster do you want them to move? And then the next night...
Maybe he just saw Jess, his last point of reference for how fast you have to be. And
that was it.
It was Jess.
The next night...
Speedy Gonzalez.
The next night the problem was
that's
that Tessa...
really off the thing. I mean, more like...
No, because...
The Flash.
No, I get what you're doing there, and it wasn't about racial stereotypes. You're talking about a fast character, Speedy Gonzalez.
Yes.
He is a fast character.
Yeah, but, we need to be better.
We do
so
need to
I'm
be
sorry
better.
about that.
Anyway, so if we look at the next night, they got stuck into Tessa in the pantry.
Yeah.
Come on, Tessa. And it's like, push. It's like, she just walked into the fucking pantry. I mean, I understand it when you have to go fish Auntie Poe out.
Yes, Auntie Poe just pottering about the pantry.
Auntie...
I like to see a new show called Poe Potters.
Auntie Poe is really... She's embracing Auntie Poe.
Just pop her in a market and just watch her potter about.
Oh, it could be great fun. Like, you may never find her again, though.
No, you just need like a GPS tracker. You can get those.
And a medical alert?
Yeah, no, we'll just get her. I can order her one because that's what I do in my job. Is a personal alarm that's also got a GPS tracker on it. So we'll just get her one of those. As long as she doesn't go out into some areas of rural Australia where there's black spots, she'll be fine.
So I thought that there were a couple of things I really enjoyed in the challenge. I felt for poor Brendan. So Brendan doesn't like chili.
This one had 30 in there.
30 to 40 chilies in the dish. Now, at one point, Brendan's panicking about this, and Laura on the gantry decides she's going to be as nice as anyone could be, and she's like going, "You don't mean in the whole dish though? How many per serve?" Because she's she's desperately looking for the loophole here to get him out of having to do it.
No.
And he goes, no, 30 to 40 in a serve, and you just saw Laura going, "Oh." Good luck.
Yeah, there's obviously one dedicated chili.
By the way, there were people who got the shits with Laura about that and said, "How smug can you be?" And I'm like, she was trying to get him out of it.
Look, people get the shits at Laura for
Breathing right now.
Days, like,
breathing right now is becoming her problem. So stop breathing, Laura. I mean, really.
No, that's nasty. That sounds wrong.
I clearly don't.
We're being sarcastic. We're trying to pay out the people who are picking on Laura online. It's like, just shit, stand the fuck down.
Yes. Anyway, so
we'll get Poe to come potter around you.
You don't want Poe pottering around because you never know when she's going to attack. Because neither does she.
She doesn't know if she's like crazy clown Poe or serious Poe.
You never know when Poe's going to attack because you don't know when Poe's actually worked up to it because she doesn't know when she's worked up to it.
Yeah.
She might attack you. She might fall asleep in the corner with a cup of cocoa. Who knows what crazy Poe's going to do? Crazy Poe. Anyway, it was an interesting challenge, like that idea of 30 to 40 chilies.
I'd be putting them in the broth. Like when you put the pressure cooker on, put a couple in there. Just whatever I'm doing, just cutting up some herbs, cut up some chilies with that. That'll get some 30 to 40 chilies in there.
I just had this image of, when you see on a TV show where someone's got too much of like any object.
Yeah.
So they're like stuffing it into like wardrobes and under seats. And I just had this idea of like Brendan at one point putting a couple behind his ear and, one down the top. And he's like, sort of just throwing them at the gantry going, hide these.
Here's a pro tip for anyone who needs to hide food that you don't want to eat. Like, just get some tissues and just pretend to like kind of blow your nose at dinner table. You just spit the food into it. That's care of 6-year-old me who really didn't like peas.
It's a good answer. Yeah. So, in terms of this challenge, the other interesting part of this challenge was when they were trying to put together the broth at the start. Poe went with basically
chicken, salt and
water, and that was it. And a lot of people on Twitter commented on this, and the main comment was, Poe is not silly enough to do that. Now, there are a couple of explanations for this, and one of them is pressure of the MasterChef kitchen. It happens to the best of them. And you get so worried about in your own head about what you're going to do. The other theory that a lot of people were putting forward is it's almost like she's setting her own challenges now.
She's like, okay, how do I come back from a plain broth?
Yeah.
Sure, I could put extra aromats in there, but do I really want to? Is that going to be challenging enough for me?
Look, it's
my muses.
Look, it's one of the only times this season that I will say that the Poe in peril narrative felt a little bit forced.
Yeah,
it almost felt like she turned around to the producer and went, "Do you want me to leave some shit out? I can do it. I can rescue it."
Oh, look, it's not as far-reaching as fucking Tessa and the fish the following.
Oh, we'll get to that. You will come to that, and I will just let you go.
Yes.
You and Andy are going to have a bit of a conversation tonight, aren't you?
Oh, yes. Andy, I hope you're listening, because Auntie Christy's got a few things to say.
She does indeed. So, yeah, we had that really weird show me that smile comment, which was... You could just see, like, Reese was thinking, do I hit him with the pressure cooker or what?
I know when I'm tense and stressed out, it really helps when some asshole wanders up to me and goes, "Oh, you should smile." He's obviously not in charge of the pastoral care of his staff because he barely pays them, but let alone cares about their well-being. But if you're going to try and add some levity, at least go and watch one of the bake-offs. Probably not New Zealand, probably not South Africa, but at least Canadian or fucking British or fucking Australian, just to get a bit of an idea how you help break the tension in someone who's under pressure while cooking on a reality TV show. That is even worse than New Zealand, and I am saying something there.
Oh boy, yeah. If you didn't see New Zealand Bake Off,
don't bother.
Yeah, don't. And sorry, we do know there are a couple of bakers from New Zealand who occasionally listen. You know it's not you.
Yeah, you guys are fucking brilliant.
You know who's to blame. She's been paying attention. Anyway, that's a very valid reference. Moving on. So we got to 10 minutes out, and that's when they stopped everyone, and he goes, now in the restaurant we start cooking the curry. And I thought that Auntie Po was going to run up the front and stab him.
Yeah. It was a good learning experience. Like the few points I will point out that were good is a bit of teaching experience. Like this is a northern Thai dish, so there's no coconut milk. Generally in Malaysia, as Poe was saying, that they over caramelize the curry paste. Some Thai dishes don't, or Thai usually don't do that. Yeah. So it
was a really good conversation around when Sarah afterwards she goes, Of course you don't cook the curry paste now.
Yeah.
And then talked through those reasons why.
Yes.
And it was just this case of suddenly going, oh shit, yeah, that's right. And it was, and that was where, and Poe admitted that she didn't cook it remotely like a Thai curry. She cooked it far more like it was Malaysian.
Yeah, because that's what she's comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly. And look, if you were scrambling like Poe was, you're going to resort to the way you would traditionally cook that dish.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's fine, and that's understandable.
We learnt something, and I'm sure it still tasted fucking nice.
So I was convinced at one point that Poe was going home and Sarah was getting the redemption arc.
Yeah.
And then they showed what Sarah had done, and in particular they showed the roti.
Yeah.
And I know there's a couple of people...
Less roti, more noti.
First of all, there's a couple of people at home listening to this going, you're pronouncing it incorrectly. And yes, probably am. Don't really care because I admit freely I'm mispronouncing it. But
he's a school teacher. If he's not mispronouncing names at least once a day, is he even a school teacher?
Probably not. Anyway, so I know I'm saying it very anglicised. Funny enough, I'm very anglicised. The roti.
We can do better. We'll get there.
We will. Anyway, so I thought that the second I looked at those, she was done for.
Yeah.
I was more worried about that than I was about the curry. I thought the curry, she's like, I should probably bail this out.
Yeah.
I was terrified for that. Turns out all of it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But before we sort of dwell on that, can we just give some kudos to the best curry that they ate?
Oh, yes.
Reese! Get confident! To quote The Simpsons and a Troy McClure self-help book, get confident, stupid.
You did pretty bloody well.
You did pretty bloody well.
You should have been a bit more happy when he's gone, this is the time I usually start cooking the curry. You should have gone, this is the time I started cooking the curry, so that's a good thing. Like,
it was just really funny when they went, the best curry we had all day was Reese, and he's like, what? What? Huh?
It's me?
Huh? He was never seen anyone so baffled.
Yeah.
But I thought the thing was, the curry, I mean, obviously there was problems with the roti, but the curry looked dead on.
Yeah.
When he brought it up. But I said to you at the time when he's bringing it up, I'm like, that looks good.
And I really thought Sarah had this in the bag because she's the one who picked up that the pork fat.
Yes, she got that right.
To cook the curry paste, in the pork fat. And I thought, oh, that's a good move. Not knowing that the curry paste shouldn't have been cooked at that time. Oh, no. So, I just want to give my condolences to everyone because this is a hard blow. I honestly thought Sarah was in the final. Like, she was one of my top 3.
This one hurt. And this one hurt everyone. It was a really devastating... It was a devastating moment for the audience. Everyone's grown to love Sarah. I mean, we loved Sarah in the last series, and it was really good to watch her come back again and just be this strong. She's
one of the people I was looking forward to because she's very good at teaching moments, explaining what's going on and with the food.
Her explanations make sense.
She makes amazing fucking food. Like, there's a lot of times you go, get that in my face right now. And she's just an all-round great person to watch. Like, there's never a cringe moment with Sarah.
No. And you love watching her in the kitchen. You love watching her on television.
And she's very supportive of the other people.
You love listening to her speak and her excitement for things.
Yeah.
She's just a genuinely excited person.
Yeah.
And I really hope, again, and I hope that this does give her the sort of food breakthrough that she deserves.
Yeah.
Because she really deserves it.
Look, just going to pitch it for next year. Back to win again. Bring Sarah back.
Yeah, but you're going to have to push Jess out of the way for that one.
Bring Sarah
and remember, by next season,
Yeah.
Jess will be seasoned as a veteran.
She'll be 22.
I know. I don't know about you, but she's feeling 22. Anyway, that's a quote of Taylor Swift for the young people out there. Anyway, so is Taylor Swift still a thing? Have we cancelled her yet? No. Okay.
Yeah, she was cancelled ages ago. We're on to the next.
No, that's right. Taylor. Don't worry about
Britney Spears.
Don't worry about don't worry about Taylor. She's dead. Old Taylor's dead. That's right. It was on her album.
Yeah, she died.
Yeah, on her album. Anyway,
condolences to the Swift family.
It is difficult time of being murdered on a podcast. Anyway, so moving on with our life.
Moving right along.
I'm trying desperately to move on with our lives.
Right.
So we went to
left, right frog. But there's a fork in the road. You don't want me quoting the Muppet movie?
Oh, no. No, it's all good. Okay. So last night, obviously last night, we then have everyone cooking off for their place in Immunity.
Yes, and it was a perfect opportunity for some razzle-dazzle, for some experimentation, nothing to lose. And they gave you 60 minutes.
To smoke things.
Such a fucking wasted opportunity. Yes, I was like, yeah, we're going to smoke things. Oh, it's a smoking gun. Oh, it's only 60 minutes.
I did say, though, that Reynolds has never felt more comfortable than when he walked into the kitchen yesterday.
Yes.
And all of the benches are smoking.
Look, I just think it's a very generous act on his behalf during this COVID time to allow people to raid his liquid nitrogen stash, or is it dry ice? Yeah, liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, liquid nitrogen. It's always, he carries it with him.
Yeah, he just...
You know, he
walks around out of fog.
He has a car that's the equivalent of Ecto-1 from the Ghostbusters. And he just carries tanks.
Nitro 1.
Yeah, Nitro 1. You know, he just pulls up. So we obviously have this idea of the smoking gun, and they all have the different types of... And they all have the idea, like they all have the different chips and stuff like that. So you got... Everyone goes running into the pantry. And as everyone goes running into the pantry, Auntie Poe... is pottering around, and that was where Andy. Are you all right, Auntie Poe?
That's fine, Andy. I really liked that. You know, that was a carer's moment.
That was the best that you got.
Because next,
it's about to get really bad. So Jock turns around very early on and goes, "Come on, Tessa," as I said. She's in the pantry. Like, let her get out of the pantry first. But that was nothing compared to what happened with Andy and Tessa.
Fuck
Go for
me.
It. This is you.
Of all the people that Andy decides to question whether a fish will be cooked, he has to fucking ask Tessa. This is not Simon, and even then, it's only Simon's filleting skills we worry about. This is fucking Tessa, a woman who we know is quite fucking good with fish. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know if it'll be cooked in time, Tessa." It was creating tension where there didn't need to be. Like, this is the kind of bullshit. And obviously, Andy has been directed, because if he's doing this bullshit on his own, then Andy, I'm sorry, love, but you need to sit down and rethink your life choices. Because this is ridiculous. Like, oh, there's no drama going on. We better fucking create some. What's going on? Oh, Tessa's fish.
Now, Christy, to balance...
Did you go up and go, "Oh, Reynolds, you're cooking a dessert"? Like, oh no, I don't know if you can do it.
Now, to balance this out a little bit, however, and be fair to Andy here, he did describe at one point this challenge as being, quote, "heaps fancy."
Look, and then
so
what pissed me off more...
I want you to balance up this criticism of Andy with him being the wordsmith of our time and referring to this challenge as heap fancy. Now, look, he's
not the most articulate person I know on TV, but then he's not the worst because we've got all the projects to go through.
And also, Colin Barras was horrible. Genuinely, that man murdered the English language like no other.
Yes,
Andy just underuses it. George killed it.
But why use more words when few words work?
He's condensed down the entire soul and essence of MasterChef. It's heaps fancy.
But what pissed me off more. It then came down to his decision.
Well, we'll come to that because I want to get into the challenge a little bit too. So I do want to talk about some positives.
Okay.
So because we'll come back to the judgment.
I think I'm just I'm in a bit of a let off steam
You've
mood.
been yelling at Andy for 2 nights.
I don't care.
No, but
if it's
I'm just-
deserved, it's
But that's-
deserved.
I'm not bagging you out for it. I'm letting the audience at home know why you're in such a ranty mood. You've been yelling at Andy for 2 nights.
Not on the podcast, but in real life. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I have been.
Like in general, just in life.
I just need to get it off my chest so I can
life,
fucking move on.
In the morning, give her a big hug, go, good morning, how are you? And she's like, fucking Andy! And I'm
Like a coffee? Yes, now fuck Andy.
no, I'm not going to fuck Andy.
No.
Anyway, so
Please don't.
moving on. So, first of all, I was so desperate for Poe's duck dish to work.
Yes.
Now, the mistake that Poe made with her dish was really simple. She told Melissa...
She was making a tea smoked duck.
Exactly. So...
Expectations set too high, As Melissa explained to us all, this dish takes like 3 days to prepare.
Well, it can, but in reality, I looked up most of the recipes, and it can take several days to do. Mm-hmm. But reality-wise, it's about 4 hours worth of cooking for a tea smoked duck minimum.
But this is the thing that really frustrated me about this challenge is that smoke, and they're absolutely right.
Smoke takes time?
Smoke adds beautiful flavour, but smoke needs time.
Yep.
Like that whole 24-hour challenge. Now, why not? I mean, okay, it's lockdown and stuff, but surely Channel 10 has an abandoned lot somewhere you can just set up a bunch of smokers.
They've got the MasterChef kitchen. They own that.
Yeah, okay, well, they can set up in the garden. I'm thinking like full-on barbecue fire pit, like full smokers. You need outdoors because it gets really fucking hot and I don't know, just take your time, make some bark rings.
Well, they weren't going anywhere. It was lockdown. You weren't going anywhere.
They're not going to go out.
Imagine the episode.
Could go to a restaurant.
We sort of suggested this a long time ago. It might have been a couple of series ago. But imagine the idea of them camping out overnight in the garden looking after their smokers.
Yeah, and
think of the episode potential.
A team challenge, and it'd have to be early on, right? Where you can have at least 3 to 4 people, probably 4 people on a team, so you can break up the night shift of checking on the smoker. And then you can all sit around campfire, tell stories.
S'mores.
Oh,
part of the challenge can be you have to make
wine.
Part of the challenge could be you have to make your snacks.
Yeah, and then you serve up a barbecue to people or smoked goods the next morning, because you can do things then like smoke salt and smoke fish and just good stuff.
So the problem
bring Jock back to his childhood by just smoking some herring so he can pop by and grab a fresh smoked herring. Remember him talking about that? Was it a herring or a kipper?
One of those.
Something.
Smoke him a kipper. We'll be back
in the morning.
So anyway, I wanted that duck dish to work, but she told Melissa it was tea smoked duck. A lot of people got stuck into Melissa and the judgment. Oh, that feels really harsh. And I went, well, no, because she said it was tea smoked duck. What Poe should have said was, look, this is a dish that is really heavily inspired by tea smoked duck, which I love. Now, obviously, I can't do tea smoked duck in this time. So what I'm going to do is my homage to it in an hour. It's a variation on it. It's not tea smoked duck, but it's very heavily inspired by it. Problem solved. Because what Melissa said was, this is delicious. It's not tea smoked duck. And the problem I have is she told me it was tea smoked duck. Because some of the people on Twitter were going, well, the judges were suffering from, what they believed it should be. And I'm like, well, they were told what it should be. Yeah,
and if you tell someone, look, I'm going to serve you up trying to think of something.
If you tell me you're going to serve up a chocolate eclair, right?
Yeah.
And you serve me an absolutely beautiful opera cake.
Yeah.
Right? That opera cake is delicious.
Yeah.
That opera cake is lovely.
Or a fucking profiterole.
That opera cake is wonderful. Guess what? It's not an eclair.
Not an eclair.
Not an eclair. You told me.
If I'm going to serve up an eclair, I served you up a profiterole. Still not an eclair.
No.
Still shoe pastry.
Same everything almost, but different.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that it's a situation where she needed to she kind of needed to sort of say it was inspired by.
Or something along the line of smoked spice duck.
Yeah.
So, and Melissa might have gone, like a smoked tea duck, and she could go, nah, because I don't have the time.
Yeah, I don't have the time to do a tea smoked duck, obviously, so what I'm doing is this.
Could you, I wonder if you could kind of veto a few things by, like, putting, like, a Russian caravan or something like that as the tea.
Maybe, because it's the heavier smoke. Yeah,
kind of
maybe.
flavour.
Now, we're about to embark upon a bit of a theme for the next two nights. So, Amelia.
Millsy, as Reese calls her, and the other her friends, but we're not her friends, so we'll just refer to her as Ms. Amelia.
For the minute, because it's coming up. It's coming up. So
what, friendship?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say it is. So anyway.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So Amelia talks about the fact that she's come up with 2 elements so far.
Yeah.
And she's working on the other one, but at the moment she's got 2 solid elements that she knows she wants to make. And isn't sure where she's going from there, but she's got 2, and she'll plan the rest of it out when they get there.
Yeah.
And Jock and Andy come over, and Jock asks the question about what she's done, and she goes, I've got 2 elements so far, blah, blah. So then Jock and Andy go into a conversation around the fact that she's only got 2 elements. And as I sort of tweeted out at the point in time, isn't it interesting how to build the drama? We're ignoring the words so far from what Amelia said, because she did add elements after the fact, and it was just this weird attempt at building drama where it didn't need to be.
I'd like to try this as, okay, you play Amelia, I'll play Jock and Andy, and let's play this differently, as if, let's try and be positive. Hey Amelia, what are you cooking?
What am I cooking?
Yeah.
Well, I'm cooking these 2 elements over here. I need another element. I've only got this so far, but I'm coming up with something.
Excellent. What do you think the dish needs?
I think it might need a bit of sweetness, possibly a little bit of acidity. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to see how I go with the first 2 elements.
Oh, sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to see what's going on.
Thank you very much, judges.
And scene.
Beautiful.
Just a bit of curiosity.
I apologise, Amelia. I
think you embodied her very well.
I didn't do justice.
He even ran to the kitchen and got a whisk while he was doing
Did I do justice to Meals on Wheels? Right. I don't think I did justice. So we need to talk about that. So I suggested last night that we've talked a lot, and every suggestion, to be fair, that we've made on the podcast where we've talked about the idea of a show has involved Amelia. And I said that the idea of, and it was Berkeley Hunt, so on Twitter, who tweeted out the idea of Meals on Wheels for the name of the show.
Yes.
But I did suggest that we need to give Amelia a lapel mic, a camera crew, and just let her wander around through daily activities and just sort of say what she sees. Because one of the things that I think has really come across in the last 2 nights of MasterChef is just Amelia's deadpan humour. She is so goddamn funny.
Well, she's got to be on wheels for it, so why not whack her on some public transport?
Well, the suggestion was that in that one there, she drives around the suburbs and talks about suburbs, and that's Meals on Wheels. And I think it would be perfect. I think Meals on Wheels is a really good one. Now, obviously, we're going to get to later on. We add back Reese into the equation.
Oh, yes.
And Reese had a really good one for that. We'll come back to that in a minute. So I liked the idea of the way Amelia was last night and the way Amelia was again tonight. It was just wonderful to watch, and the audience was having so much fun.
Yeah, and this is something that you and I have loved Amelia for since she was on her season, and it's just so nice for her to get the recognition she bloody deserves.
It's about bloody time. So
this woman knows how to make a creme diplomat and to explain the difference between a creme pat and a creme diplomat.
So again,
is it a creme pat or a creme mat?
And again, her baking background I think also helps out with a large percentage of us who are all bake-off people.
Yeah,
because she mentions all the bake-offs, all the baking stuff, and we're just like, oh yeah, you're in our wheelhouse now. Just to quickly go back to Auntie Poe for a moment,
yes,
because it was the moment where Melissa asked Poe. I forgot to mention it. Where Melissa asked Poe, "How do you plan on doing a tea smoked duck in 60 minutes?" And Poe's answer was basically magic.
I don't know, but I've got this cauldron here bubbling away. I'm about to add Eye of Newt.
Also, Reese and Brendan, we still got
new challenge alert. Cauldron cooking. Just go full spooky. Have some cauldron.
Full spook, everybody.
Full spook. Have some cauldron cooking. Some offal. just make it really...
That sounds quite
Witchy.
awful. Anyway, but I'm ching. That was a Jock level pun. By the way, Jock, your puns last night were terrible. They were barely even puns. Up your
wasn't
game.
punny.
Up your game. So, in terms of last night, Reese and Brendan, there was a moment last night that I just absolutely loved, which was as Reese goes past Brendan, he wants him to taste the dish, and he just like scoops it in the spoon and runs past him. He goes, "Here, taste this," and like forces it into his mouth as he runs past, and Brendan's like, "It's good." Neither of them stopped. It was.
Do you think that's just what happens back at their apartments? Like,
Random feeding?
Just knock and run? Like, knock and feed?
You open the door and go, "What are you doing here?" And just a spoon goes in the mouth. Also, we need to have a moment of conversation for the fact that Khan, who of course has the "You Are Loved" shirts, who knew that love and appreciation stretched to his pressure cooker? It was the way that Khan provided deep emotional love and support to his pressure cooker. As he was releasing the valve, he's talking to it. He's like giving it. It felt like the most cared for and loved pressure cooker in the history of the world. Like, there's never been a pressure cooker with that much support ever. So Khan, proving that you are loved is not just like a slogan for him. He lives it on a daily basis with appliances. So obviously then. This was all to see who was going to go through. So we had Amelia obviously got through. Absolutely loved Amelia's dessert. I thought it was
beautiful. The colours were
gorgeous.
gorgeous. With the currant sorbet, or what was it? The fancy currant sorbet. The shard.
Got to be a shard.
Macerated blackberries.
Reese's was also pretty cool. Now we need to talk. Okay, so we need to talk more about Tessa. So Tessa then comes up. And Andy then, when he has it, goes, "Oh, this fish is perfect," which was annoying. But then
I wanted him to choke on it so badly.
But then Jock thought it was shit.
Yeah.
So this is another theme that happened. The judges this week decided they were going to disagree with each other. And look, it's great.
Right.
We're fine with this. But it happened a lot. It almost felt a bit forced. No, I don't think it was.
No.
I think it was more that's actually what they think. But I think they might have been encouraged to be a bit more harmonious. And this week they've just gone, fuck it.
But something else I've noticed this week, less Melissa.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that tonight when I want to talk about it tonight.
Okay.
Because I felt like Melissa was not really given a lot of things to say this week. And every time you looked, you had the double act walking around the kitchen.
I mean, Jock at one point was up on like the stairwell ready to, I don't know, burst into a West Side Story
We'll come back to his evil villainness because he was evil villain. So we had the montage. We had the montage of mediocrity, and that was when Melissa then, after the montage, pointed out to Poe that the tea smoked duck wasn't tea smoked duck. That was a problem. Reynolds.
Oh, that's right, Reynolds.
Audience, brace yourselves.
If you're a Reynolds fan,
skip forward
just skip
about
forward.
40 seconds.
Yeah,
all right.
Save yourself some angst.
Okay, for anyone who's ever watched Scrubs, and I referenced this tonight when it came to Laura's pasta dishes, what Jock would do, but for anyone who's watched Scrubs, think Elliot Reed. Think the I told you so dance. I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. They finally called him out on the fact that all of his dessert was looks.
Yep.
And no flavour balance.
Style and substance.
And flavour balance. They said, you're not balancing your flavours, you're going for the big dramatic.
Yep.
When you focus on your flavours are great. Unfortunately, you've now got so far, pardon the pun, down the rabbit hole. I know. But the problem is, and this has always been a weakness, it's been a weakness of Reynolds. For those people who are like, but Reynolds the greatest person of all time. The weakness in Reynolds is that he gets so carried away with the look that he forgets that you've actually got to eat the dessert.
Yeah.
Or you've got to eat the main. I'm not going to just stick to desserts. And it can look incredible and amazing. but it's got to eat well. And, as the judges all said, all of them said when they ate it, the balance is so far out of this, it's not pleasant.
No.
And look, the way that I view it occasionally, and again, he's far more talented than the idiots on Cake Boss. Far more talented.
Absolutely.
But look at their cakes. Their cakes look fucking amazing.
sheet
I would
cakes,
never eat one in a million years.
Sheet cakes and Rice Krispies.
It's a sheet vanilla cake and a Rice Krispie.
And a fuck ton of icing.
Yeah. I would never eat one in a million years.
Sorry, fondant.
Fondant. So,
Fondant.
but again, it's a similar sort of thing with like sometimes with Reynolds. Not all the time. Again, his flavours are good. I can hear people getting ready to yell at me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Come on, we've only got 10 more seconds.
I know. Well, we're past that anyway. But basically, it was really good to see the judges remind Reynolds. And it was a reminder. It wasn't them going, you can't do this, you suck. It was them going, when you think about your flavour,
Yeah.
you're good. So how about you go back to thinking about flavour and stop trying to build us like a clock tower, which you can then strike with lightning, sending a DeLorean back to the future. So we ended up with, in the last two were Reese and Amelia to get through. So you had Reese, you had Amelia, you had Reese, you had Amelia, you had Laura got through, which Twitter, she breathed.
Melted.
She breathed. Well done, Laura. You actually deserve. She really deserved to get through.
She deserved to get through. My God, they
and-
were very clear. There were 3 clear people who were going through.
And then we had the big decision.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that Tessa got shafted.
Well, it didn't help in the storytelling that we had Andy going on and on and on and on and on and on and on about Tessa, can she cook the fish?
And then the problem was, as they said, in one dish, Jock liked it and Melissa didn't. Mm-hmm. In the other dish, it was flipped.
Yep.
Which left Andy as the casting vote, and he liked both. Mm-hmm. So it came down to whichever dish Andy liked more. And he'd spent the whole night bagging out Tessa's dish.
Exactly, and it's like, if you're sick of Tessa cooking fish, be open about that. But you can't. I don't know.
Well, again, they said it with Reynolds. They've said it with Laura.
Yeah.
They've said it with Brendan.
Yeah.
They could have said to Tessa, "Look, Tessa,
we know you're great at fish, but
try something else.
We want to see you."
We've talked about this, but I thought that Tessa probably should have gone through over Poe.
Yeah, but then again, you think about it, right? You've got 60 minutes to smoke something. You need the smoke to carry the flavour. What are you going to do?
Well, fish is the answer.
Yeah.
Because fish is going to carry the flavour better. Fish or a dessert are the answers. Like what Poe actually attempted, if you think about it, trying to get the smoke to stay in it, is really fucking hard. Yeah. And she did a decent job of it. They said the flavour was actually quite good. It was just it wasn't what she advertised.
No.
So we then ended up with obviously those 4 in the challenge tonight for immunity.
Yep.
So let's get into it. So I loved when they walked in, Reese was trying to come up with his own level of logic as to why it wasn't scary. Oh, there's boxes. Oh, it's only one box. Oh, that's not as scary as all the boxes, and they're not smoking. No, this is going to be easy. This will be fine. This will be fine. It was really... The other interesting part before we even got underway with the challenge was they just started to Poe gave this really interesting description of Poe where she started talking about the clown.
I don't know if Clown Poe will come out.
And she started to, I don't know what's going to happen, I'll think it's sane and normal Poe, and then bang, there's the clown.
But the thing is, I don't think she's a clown because a clown actually sets out to fool and entertain. Poe is artistic. It's either, airy-fairy artist Poe is what I'd more do.
The way we've described her is she's the pro heart.
Yeah, struck by muses.
Right? Oh, missed out a heart, what a mess.
Yeah.
And that's Poe. She's Poe heart. So it's the way that I view her in there anyway. Again, she's avant-garde. It's whatever mood strikes her as that's where she goes.
Yeah.
It's where the wind takes her.
And it's fine when it's just her competing. When she puts someone else at risk, that's when I get a bit, come on, Poe, take this seriously.
Yes. So the challenge. You had to use one ingredient in all 3 dishes as the hero.
That's made it come back.
So I think it's on the game card next week. Speaking of the game card, before we quickly run through the rest of this challenge, I will quickly sprint through the drinking game.
Well, hurry up.
So, okay, I'm sprinting. I'm trying to move it.
You're pottering like Poe.
I'm trying to move it at Jess pace. Anyway, so I could
Come
go.
on, Uncle Chris, Grand Uncle Chris,
I could go home.
Grandpa Chris.
You know, for someone who was telling me I was going at a snail's pace, you're not letting me do it, are you? I could be going home this lead. No, I didn't really get that this week. Matcha?
Nah.
No, I'm trying to remember if I had it earlier in the week. No. Vespa definitely. Melissa made the audience feel better about themselves within 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Kingfish was happened the other night. Grenada happened the other night. Hibachi's happened tonight. Contestant makes something they made in their first season? No. And the 10-shot mega square. There was not a musical sing-along.
I thought there were almost, because tonight with Jock posing on that stairwell, it looked like he was going to like break out into a bit of Mr. Mistopheles or something. Oh yeah.
There's going to be a rumble tonight. No, it could be, but it could have been that, or we could have got Tonight with Andy and Jock, which would have also been appropriate for the way they were in the kitchen. So let's get into the challenge now. So you had to use pumpkin. That was the dish, and you had to use that in all three. You only got the one pumpkin. So you had to make it last through the whole thing. Now, the way they did it was a 90-minute challenge, and every 30 minutes they would stop you and you had to present your dish.
Yes.
And then they would send you back to your benches, they'd do the tasting, and then they would tell whoever it was they were out, and then they'd go to the gantry and we'd move through. So before we get into the challenge itself, let's get the negative out of the way of this challenge. Mm-hmm. Food waste.
Yeah, because people would start cooking, and that's understandable because it's, a 90-minute challenge. But then what happens after they've half cooked something and have to fuck off?
Well, Poe was starting pastry.
Yeah.
Laura got some very expensive ingredients out for her one because she was already planning a third round dish and had to leave them. So, and the problem is once you've started the prep, you can't.
Are they then whisked off to be cooked somewhere else?
That's the only. Well, they couldn't be whisked off because Amelia had all of the whisks.
Okay, well, they spatulate off.
By the way, Amelia, I have to ask the question. What the fuck did you do with all those whisks? I didn't see you whisking that much. You talked about it. What are you doing, Amelia? Whisking?
She's whisking it for the biscuit.
But you weren't whisking that much, and you had so many. Are you selling them on eBay?
She's trying to, she's selling them on eBay, recoup some money. You got nothing
Building
else.
a robot?
Yeah, nothing else to do while you're locked up for COVID. May as well start a whisk business.
I like the idea that maybe
you could call it whiskey business.
I like the idea that
just take those old whisks off the shelf.
I like the idea that Amelia actually
get a non-rusted one for yourself.
I like the idea that Amelia might actually have
today's whisk. It ain't got the same soul.
I'll let you finish
You want some more time on whiskey and roll.
Anyway, I like the idea that Amelia decided.
That makes sense because you don't want an old one. You actually want the new whisks. Sorry, Amelia. We'll come up with a new jingle.
I like the idea that Amelia just decided, maybe at this point of the competition, to just steal one item in its entirety.
Whisk that whip. Crack that whisk. Whisk it. Whisk it good. There we go, Amelia. New one. That's better.
I like the idea.
What do you like the idea of?
That Amelia decided to just steal one item per day. Next week, she's going to start stealing all of the mixes.
Is she behind either catch.com.au or friggin' what's the one that has the dodgy shit on it?
Oh.
You know the one that you're just scrolling through Facebook and suddenly it's like... Wish, like $2 dildos.
Personal massages, Christy. In an array of colours.
Novelty-shaped ice cream cones.
Clearly dildo. Anyway, so I thought that... We haven't even got to the challenge yet. So
let's get to the challenge.
So they had, again, you had three... But the food waste, I think, is a genuine problem. In all honesty, the food waste was a genuine problem. Because you had to just abandon it where you were. You couldn't really use them up. They get accredited by Oz Harvest, and obviously that's all the stuff in the pantry. I would like to know... Because Simon liked to talk up the idea that nothing was wasted.
But that said, again, I reiterate, what my friend said in the research is it needs to be more people reducing waste, not perfectly, than a few people doing it perfectly.
Oh no, I agree 100% with that sentiment, and I agree.
So why do we need to keep going on about it?
Okay.
When we should be focusing on serious issues like Andy being a pain in the fucking ass.
All yours. Talk about Andy.
No, I think I've ranted enough. I'm just more pissed off that Melissa did not get her due. Like he went and Andy went up and tasted Reese's curry, and then had to act as Jock's servant boy by getting him a spoon of curry. Just a spoonful of coffee makes them. Sorry.
So I
bring it back.
The way I sort of viewed that,
I
viewed it that in that moment I viewed that Jock was the evil mastermind in his lair, and it was the way that he looked at it and went, Andy, taste that curry for me. And it was like he was issuing orders against Mr. Bond, I expect you to spice. And it was just this weird moment of yes, master. And he goes limping off to eat the curry for him. It was weird. It was bizarre. Like the way he was barking, like Melissa was nowhere to be found. I'm assuming she went home and got some Uber Eats, Deliveroo. I'm assuming that's where Melissa was, and then she just came back at the end because she didn't need to be there for the rest of it because they only used her really sparingly this week.
Well, her for when who was it tonight? Oh, Amelia's pun.
Yes.
Do you remember what was the pun? It was something along the lines of...
I'll think of it because Amelia had a couple of...
a shoe, because I thought it'd be a shoe-in.
Oh, the shoe-in, yes. Access to a stylist has been vital to Jocks and Philo because they showed... The flashback of young Jock cooking. Now, this is also a very disturbing trend that I'm noticing in the MasterChef kitchen. Andy and Jock are spending a hell of a lot of time talking about what they would cook.
Yeah.
Like tonight at one point, Andy, when he got to the judging, was as bad as the recipes that you read where they talk about their holiday to Bali.
It's like, shut the fuck up. I just want to learn how to make chicken soup.
So I'm about to eat this dish. Before that, let me tell you about last time I was in the kitchen. So what I did was, Andy, shut up. Judge the fucking dish. If you want to talk about that, fantastic. You know when you talk about that in the middle of the episode when you were yelling at Tessa about fish?
Can I just ask who actually deliberately goes and reads those kind of food blogs? Like who?
I'd like to think that there's somebody compiling them and making a book of short stories.
It's just...
No recipes, just the short stories.
But they're boring as fuck. They're self-indulgent, masturbatory pieces of, look at my privilege, I've travelled in many places, or, been lucky enough to be taught by fucking, I don't know, the Queen to make a corgi cake. Like, it's just... who?
So basically Columbaris. Anyway,
I blame Sex in the City. I blame... Sarah Jessica Parker.
Meanwhile, Samantha.
And her column, this week, I only fucked this guy, but my heart belonged to this guy. And then I bought some shoes and thought to myself, yeah, this is a real metaphor for where my life's going.
So anyway,
I presume that's what it was like.
So anyway, Poe was trying stuff.
Yep.
Positive. Poe was trying stuff. Negative. Poe was trying stuff that needed organisation. And she decides to make the pasta dish, and you could just... She said at the time, she goes, I'm going to have a go at this, but I kind of need to be really well organised, and I'm kind of not. But I'm going to try it anyway. And look, Poe's dish, I tweeted out at one point tonight that Poe's dish resembled a 1990s RSL Italian meal.
I think you'll find it's called Italian.
Italian, you're right. You're right, love.
Bistro, and it would have fancy cursive writing and probably some
Parmesan cheese. From the grater. Not even an actual grater we're talking about. When I say grater, I mean the green container of Kraft Parmesan shaved.
Fancy.
Oh, I know. Nothing says plastic. So, then we had... I'll do all the Amelia stuff in one big hit because it was a tour de force tonight from Amelia. Let's talk quickly about the drama It lasted for 3 seconds and it wasn't really drama. So Jock comes over to Laura's bench on the second challenge. Poe goes on the first challenge. It was great because Poe, they go, Poe is the weak dish, so Poe goes up to the gantry and Poe stops and goes, yeah, of course it is. Duh. Because she said, I undercooked the pasta and the whole thing was horrible. And then Jock goes, that pasta's abysmal. The second dish, Laura says she's going to do the ravioli stuffed with pumpkin. And Jock just looks at her and goes, yawn, 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 yawn.
Look, it's true. It's been around for quite a while.
There were a lot of people who took this as a moment to delight in the fact that Jock's finally seen through that Jezebel. Then there were people that delighted in Laura basically telling Jock to shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing when I cook pasta and I'm really fucking good at pasta. The answer, by the way, for people looking for that at a possible drama moment is it was two friends bantering back and forth, first of all. And second of all, both of them were right. Yeah. Jock was trying to say to her, this is really fucking bland. You can do better than this. Make it, do something good with it. Make it interesting.
Sure. Make a pumpkin, filled pasta. Yeah. Think about the filling.
Which she did.
Thanks.
And it worked. Laura turned around and rightly went, I've built a bit of a reputation about my restaurant about being able to make pasta, and I'm pretty fucking good at it. So don't fucking tell me that people won't necessarily like my pasta. And that was back and forth banter. The funniest part about the whole thing was that the filling, which she fixed, and was the thing that Jock was worried about,
was great.
Was perfect. Jock's like, those chilies are fantastic. The flavours are so well balanced. She fucked up the fold of the pasta.
Wasn't thin enough.
I wonder if she got in her own head.
Too thick.
I wonder if she got in her own head, was so worried about the filling.
Yeah.
That she's going, I don't do the rest of it. That's easy.
Yeah.
And just sort of got in her own head. I thought it was really funny. Just not in a ha-ha sucked in Laura way. I wouldn't have cared who it was. I thought the whole exchange was funny. Mm-hmm. And I thought the way it panned out was quite humorous. Now.
Yes.
Amelia.
Because
we're going to finish off with Reese, because it's Reese's night. But Amelia, Miss Whisking herself. That was when Jock came over in the first one with the bug dish, and God, that bug dish looked good. I'm a sucker for a good bug dish.
And she paid attention to they're like, you've got to use the brains.
Well, this is where Jock comes over and tells her you've got to use. What's wrong? Well, you've got to use these. These is flavoured. Was it you call it the passport to flavour country? And I'm like, I've never seen a man waving.
Well, the border's a closed job.
Yeah,
it's COVID. We're not getting through to flavour country this
I've
week.
never seen a man waving bugs' heads at someone going, flavour country. But what I loved was the way that Amelia looked at him and basically said, fuck off. But then she used it.
All right.
She used it.
Fair point, but do you have to be a bug waver?
But it was the way she looked at me, do I have time to use the heads, Jock? It is a half an hour cook. I liked the tasting stations, by the way, just quickly. I thought they were really cool as an idea. So we then got the rest of Meals on Wheels and Reese. And I love the idea of Meals on Wheels and Reese left together. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about this idea of those two being a partnership in a TV show.
Oh, fun. With like visits from Jess and Brandon and Sarah. Just like it's like Mr. Rogers' house. People just call in.
Yeah, exactly. I think
have an RV.
It's a beautiful day in your neighbourhood. It's a beautiful day for the neighbour. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? Anyway, I thought that it was really cool to have those two in the last two. Amelia's night. It was a tour de force performance of the highest order. Yeah. And I don't think she was acting when I say performance. I mean just watching her just sort of bounce around the kitchen with enjoyment. Like, her first dish fucks up and she happily goes to plan B.
Yeah.
I do like, by the way, again, she's
got nothing to fucking lose.
Also started to explain what a pumpkin Paris breast was. And I'm like, no. Don't explain it. Leave it to the audience. Let everyone sit with it. Now, she did the pumpkin cake early on as well, and then we also had the different cakes going on. Mm-hmm. Andy, by the way, when he tasted her cake, had to remind us again.
He didn't like cake.
Doesn't like cake, but he thought it was really nice. Thought it was really unique. Thought it was really different. Then we had Amelia and Reese just back and forthing, and it was so much fun to watch. Now, we talked about the idea of what the show would be called. And what the show would be called, I think it was quite an interesting little back and forth. So we suggested that first of all, it was supposed to involve wine originally. And so Reese has suggested baking with booze. Amelia suggested you and I and rosé. And then Reese has got the answer to the show.
Yes.
You, moi, and a case of rosé. And I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
And Channel 10 snap them up right now. Like, you got nothing else to show. So, seriously, like, I've seen the ads for Bachelor. Somebody, by the way, tweeted tonight that the ads for Bachelor in Paradise have made them miss the stolen baby.
Look, it's obvious that there's a lot of horny people that got disappointed on previous Bachelors and Bachelorettes and are too good for Tinder, so they need an all-expenses-paid holiday and be filmed 24/7 in order to find true love. It's just a normal story. It's just the story of average people going about their workaday world looking for love while sitting shirtless on an island resort.
Are you describing MasterChef or Bachelor?
Little column A, little column B. I don't know what Melissa gets up to. Who knows if Jock and, Andy are out there.
So, we also had tonight, just quickly, I've just remembered, the greatest line in all of MasterChef history.
There were two good lines. So the build-up was the cheese line, wasn't it?
That was where the large block of cheese was being cut. That was quite cool.
Yeah, and Callum's gone, that's a good piece of cheese.
It is a good piece of cheese. But far more importantly,
Yes.
Amelia with words to live by. She looks at Melissa, she runs back to the bench, and Melissa looks at her, are you okay? And Amelia looks at her and goes, I've done some running, but I've eaten some cake, so it all balances out.
Yeah, got to live a balanced life.
Balanced life, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was sort of summing up a lot of just the way that she sort of went about things. I thought was beautiful.
She epitomised my belief that this is like a big sandbox for all the cooks to go play in. It's just fun.
And the mille-feuille, the way she developed that mille-feuille as the backup was fantastic. And also
It took on a life of its own.
Yeah, and then her moment where she finishes and goes, what have I done? How high have I stacked that damn thing?
It's like layer up a layer up a layer. It was it Sarah Lee? I can't remember.
Layer upon layer upon layer. She's like, I started stacking it. And the more I stacked it, the more I realised that, what am I doing? And then I stopped. And I'm like, I can't stop. I've got to keep going.
And I loved how they're like, well, this is not the refined dish we've come to know. And she should have blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm okay with this brick-like monstrosity.
Sorry, if I'm ordering a mille-feuille, guess what? I want a large mille-feuille. I don't want 2 sheets in the truth. But what was 2 sheets in the truth and possibly 2 sheets in the wind?
Yeah.
Reese's curry.
That looked nice.
Oh, the second he started that, I'm like, ooh, that looks good.
And he usually cooks it all day. See, this is the thing, you have longer challenges, you get more flavour. Just 1 24-hour challenge. I know it's a fucker for the crew, but surely
you can work it out.
Surely we can work this out.
So...
no one else is doing anything at the moment. You obviously can't film The Bachelor. This is... Okay, we're going to get to this and why certain changes are being made.
Yes.
But we can't film The Bachelor and The Bachelorette at the moment because it's got no fucking where to go. Oh, we're going to go on a date. Where we're going to? Oh, the living room. Where are you going
Zoom.
to? Oh, yeah. In our own living rooms via Zoom. It's not very romantic. I've had to do up my own. Could you imagine The Bachelor having to dress their own romantic set? Usually they've got obviously whoever does the fucking set design and set dressing for The Bachelor and The Bachelorette need a fucking medal because it is always bougie as fuck. It is OTT to the max. And could you imagine if they did do the Zoom Bachelor?
That would be brilliant.
And asked him, unless they've got a flatmate that knows what the fuck's going on, maybe a cool drag queen, it's essentially going to be like a Woolies scented candle.
Streamers.
And streamers. Had some, my mum lent me some doilies.
I've got an old tablecloth.
Look, I vacuumed the lounge.
I can fit more than 3 people on it now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
And the Bachelorette, like, is just, you know, her camera is perpetually falling because she's having to put it at very specific angles.
Yeah, she's got to get the angle right.
Yeah. I'm sorry, we've lost our fifth Bachelorette due to a traumatic head injury caused by camera angles.
Abby laying on the ground bleeding, going, "I'm okay.
I'm fine.
Somebody get me to Kieran." Anyway, so just quickly as well, Neil did point out on Twitter that the judges did decide to eat the dessert before the curry.
Yeah.
Weird. Just weird.
That's a bold choice there.
So they did the tasting. They decided that both of them had problems, but they liked Reese's a little bit more. So Reese wins immunity. Amelia wins Australia's heart. They both win Australia's heart. I mean, Reese has already owned it, but I think Amelia's now got a special place.
And look, it was disappointing that we didn't get to a crescendo, but quite frankly...
Don't care.
You know, that was a marathon. That wasn't a... That was 3 successive sprints, you know. That was...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
a triathlon of food.
Now, a couple of...
A triathlon of pumpkin.
Now...
It's a new Olympic sport.
Now, we've got... Before we wrap it up, we've got a couple of things to do. The first thing we need to do is, as of next week, MasterChef moves to 3 nights.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Basically because Channel 10 needs to... not have MasterChef run out, and they haven't got anything else filmed. So Bachelor in Paradise gets some time, MasterChef gets some time, and they get a lot more time.
Well, you take it... I don't think they could have finished filming Survivor with the COVID outbreak. No. I don't even know if they could get over there.
No.
Yeah, it would have just been shit house timing.
It just becomes surviving, just in society, really.
The Bachelor has got... nowhere to fucking go on dates.
Yeah, they've got big problems. So, and they don't start filming the other MasterChef, the new series and the junior series until much later in the year anyway, so they're not ready for that yet. So they've got to spread it out, and we're down to the 8, so they're going to spread out over the next couple of weeks. So,
look, quite frankly, better this than repeats of NCIS.
And you know what, Burnout,
or the new FBI,
which is on every 2.5 seconds as well.
Jesus Christ.
They're all the same show. They're all the same show. Just replace Mark Harmon with Julian McMahon. Anyway, so the more important,
the master, David Caruso.
No, he's on Channel 9, CSI.
Where's Law and Order?
That's Channel 10.
Okay.
That's Vincent D'Onofrio.
Sorry,
Anyway, we're going through our crime scene investigation.
I will always call it Law and Order in honour of a guy that I used to support who fucking loved the show, but he would say Law and Order, not Law and Order.
Remember, produced by Dick Wolf. Anyway, so, more importantly than all of that random crap we just went on another tangent on.
Yeah.
Podcast goes to 1 night a week.
Yeah.
Because you don't need us talking twice a week at 3 nights.
No.
So what we're looking to do at the moment, we think Tuesdays are the most appropriate because it wraps up the week.
Yeah.
So it'll be every Tuesday, which is not a night we normally podcast on, but it is now. Drinking game card.
Days.
Drinking game card will still be happening, obviously. Everything else will still be happening. We'll still be live tweeting everything. But we're going, when they drop down to 3, we're dropping down to 1 podcast a week, unless we have special interviews, which we might still have, who knows. Got some things in the working out there. Last thing before we go, I did ask...
No, not the last thing.
Okay.
Look, people are going to now have a few days, a couple of nights a week, plus podcast time, when they've got nothing to do.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
We've got some suggestions for you all, would you like to kick us off with a suggestion?
What could you do in place? You could recreate your favourite contestant's dish.
Yeah, make a white chocolate velouté.
Oh, that could be a good idea. I like that idea, actually. Write for Nathan on your crockery.
In sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
Put faster there. I'd like to see some more ninja training going on. We've obviously got the new Trents coming up in future seasons, and I just think that we need more ninja training to really perfect that up.
You could work on building famous art sculptures out of millfoil.
Yes, just pile it up big. Tweel and mill.
What else would you suggest?
Thatcher thicket to your Jaxie.
I think everyone needs to Thatcher thicket to their Jaxie.
That's for you, Kim Spicer.
That is for you, Kim Spicer, and we know you'll get that. For any Get This fan out there, indeed, Thatcher thicket to your Jaxie, and also watch out for the action behind the 7-Eleven. Anyway, there's a number of options there.
There is, maybe work on
re-enamel your tartan thermos.
Yeah, revulcanise your tyres.
Revulcanise your tyres post-haste.
Yeah, restump the house.
Always restump the house.
Be kind, rewind.
Have you ever rented a video that wasn't quite right? The last thing I want to get on to before we go, I want to get on to, we asked for some questions. We got some questions.
Oh, we did?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
We
people
got some
want to know
questions.
shit.
I know. You're going, oh, well, nobody bothered to ask any questions. No, people asked.
Oh, okay.
So there's only a couple, but
Okay.
Miss Me at Blake7 asked,
Hello.
lots of positive changes for 2020, but what could they do better in 2021?
I'd like to see more chefs of colour,
Yep.
to be honest. Not contestants, and contestants of colour. Sorry, that sounds terrible. But actual chefs of colour. Like,
Yeah.
you know, for example, there's an amazing woman who runs Honey Creole Catering down in Tasmania, who's got a rich heritage and a lot of passion. I'd love to see people like her on the show to actually start expanding who's representing the food that is created here in Australia, because I guarantee you go down to your local Thai place and it's not being cooked by a white guy.
No. I'd also like, my other thing that I would say that they need to fix up for the next season is they need to let Andy be more natural, Andy. Because he might be a little bit annoying at times, but I think when you let him just sort of do the things that I think he wants to do, when he's not trying to force it into how he views MasterChef, he's good. But I think the problem with Andy is that he's sort of stuck in this half. Again, he's the one who has the most MasterChef experience out of the three judges.
Yeah.
He's the one with the clearest picture in his mind as to how MasterChef goes. He needs to sort of get it out of his head and wing it a bit more. I think the big positive they've got out of this series has been Melissa Leon. There's no doubt about that. So I think letting that naturally happen.
I want to see them build on Joxon Fellow representing native Indigenous ingredients and actually get out and get the producers and get people who are Indigenous on the show to talk about their food, and not like, you know, there's a lot of skill in being able to hunt and cook your food, like with like traditional cooking methods, and there's so much more to explore, and I'd love to see that. You know, from people who are happy to share that, like not force them.
Yeah.
Because that's another, you know, area that could be great. But just, you know, you could just start with Mark Olive and go from there.
Yeah.
You know, just...
Melissa's got his number.
Exactly.
She can give him a call. So that was one question. Another question, and we'll do the Reader's Digest version of this one because we've talked about this before, but Anna at Very Sleepy Koala,
yes,
which is always one of my favourite ads.
Yes.
Am I allowed to ask how you guys met and got started with the podcast? Just curious if you discussed it previously. No, you're not allowed to ask. No. No, we've talked about it before a few times. So
Reader's
Digest version.
Yeah, we met on Tinder because I didn't know how the kids dated these days after things ended with my ex-husband. So I jumped on the Tinder and I was looking for people who liked Red Dwarf. I had no idea it was a hookup site. I thought it was an honest-to-God thing. Red Dwarf, Star Wars and Doctor Who. And then I saw this guy who liked Red Dwarf and Doctor Who. And I'm like, oh, it's not Star Wars though. Hopefully he's not a Trekkie. But he was a redhead, so I thought, oh, let's give him a try. And I did. And we went on a date and we just clicked.
And it was just that I didn't have Star Wars on the profile.
You fixed that right up, and we've now cemented anyway. He is a Star Wars fan.
Yes,
so
that was never a doubt. And how did we start the podcast? The podcast it started over Bake Off. It was started over another podcast. We were doing a podcast of a podcast, and then we moved
as a joke.
And
it was a random idea I had.
And we'd spoken to them, and they were fine with it. We're not going to go through who they are, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
people who've listened know. But we started as that, and we sort of talked to them and said, "This is what we're going to do," and they went, "That's really funny." And then we did it.
Then they stopped doing their
podcast and possibly finding it as funny. And then we just moved into what we were doing.
Just humble brag there.
Yeah, and
I honestly think they got better things. You know, like they got a TV
no, they got far
show.
better. They got far better things to do. But they got far better things to do. And meanwhile, F-less Rowboat awaits us.
Yeah.
So no, and then we
got my oars ready.
We enjoyed doing Bake Off and went, well, we'll do more Bake Off, and then we went, oh, MasterChef, so I'm watching that. Why don't we do MasterChef as well?
Yeah, because we just wanted to keep going.
Yeah, because we like doing it. We like doing it. It's fun. It's good fun. And when it's not fun, we don't do it, and that's the thing. And we've got the ability to do that.
Yep.
The last question is from Vaya, and Vaya simply asks,
hi, Vaya.
Who would you have back from the evictees? She goes, I'm 100% Jess.
Jess and Sarah.
I don't think I'd bring Jess back.
Who else did we sing?
I don't think I would bring Jess back. Why simply not? Because I feel like Jess is possibly better served not being in there now.
Okay.
I feel like Jess is at a point in her development as a chef and as someone who's involved with food where moving outside of the MasterChef bubble is the
help her.
best thing that can probably happen to her. So I would not want her back in there. I would want her to go and get experience elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'd want her to go and experience more of the world. More of the world.
Possibly Sarah Clare. I think she had more to give.
I know who I would like back.
Sarah Tiong.
No, I want Harry back.
Oh, yes.
I want Harry back because Harry should never have gone home in the first place.
Oh, fuck yeah, no, that was a bad call.
I think that Harry should be in there still.
He had a shovel load more to give.
So yeah, my answer is
And it could have been dominated by the gays. Like,
my answer is Harry. I think Harry is the one that I would want back in there the most because I think Harry was, I think Harry got a rough deal.
Now, you asked what else I want to see on MasterChef. Pride float. Just a Mardi Gras float.
Yeah, but we've already got our Bake Off one.
Yeah, why not more? More floats for everyone.
Because I'm not necessarily convinced that Channel 10 and Foxtel will play nice on that one.
No, they wouldn't.
Especially while it's both on SBS.
No, but other things go on there. People, like other TV shows.
A MasterChef float would be cool. I do agree with you.
You know, just to,
I do agree with you.
yeah, bring it on.
I'm not anti. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. We will be back on Tuesday. That sounds weird. That sounds really. I'm not going to get used to that. And by the way,
It's a Bake Off night. When
It is.
When we usually Bake Off podcast. It's either Tuesday or Thursday.
so we might be getting a bit of a Bake Off vibe, which would be really good for everyone at home because it's far more energetic.
More bunting.
Far more energetic and a lot more bunting. So until next episode, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Christy.
We'll catch you all later.
That's your thicket to your Jaxie.